In the unending quiet between worlds, something new is taking shape. It hangs in the gravitational embrace of our sun, a nascent titan of silicon and steel. From Earth it is invisible, a whisper against the solar glare. But here, in the raw, unfiltered vacuum, its scale is staggering. Robotic arms, balletic and precise, extend across kilometers of framework. They stitch together arrays of shimmering photovoltaic skin. Each panel is a masterpiece of engineering designed to drink light. This is not a space station, nor is it a colony for humankind. It is something far more ambitious, a structure of pure cognition, a mind being woven from light and logic in the heart of our solar system. This immense undertaking, shrouded in corporate secrecy and scientific awe, is known by a deceptively simple name, Project Suncatcher, and its activation signals the dawn of a computational revolution, an era where the very limits of thought are about to be redrawn. To comprehend the sheer necessity of such a colossal endeavor, we must first look back, not to the stars, but to ourselves. Our civilization is built upon a foundation of information. From the first marks on a cave wall to the sprawling digital archives of today, our progress has been intrinsically linked to our ability to process reality. For half a century, that ability has expanded at a blistering, miraculous pace, governed by a single prophetic observation made in 1965. Gordon Moore, a chemist and future co-founder of Intel, predicted that the number of transistors on a microchip would double roughly every 2 years. This axiom, now famously known as Moore's Law, became the engine of the modern world. It was a self-fulfilling prophecy, a challenge that spurred generations of engineers. It shrank room-sized computers into our pockets. It connected the globe with an invisible web of data. It gave us simulations, global finance, and the keys to the human genome. But this relentless doubling could not continue forever. A law of man, no matter how prescient, must eventually collide with the laws of physics. Imagine a city vibrant and growing at an exponential rate. At first, expansion is easy. New buildings rise, roads widen, but soon the core becomes impossibly dense. The power lines can carry no more current without melting. The water pipes reach their maximum pressure. The streets are choked with traffic, and the heat from millions of lives becomes a suffocating blanket, stifling further growth. Our planet's computational infrastructure is now this city. Our data centers, the humming cathedrals of the digital age, are facing a fundamental physical barrier. We are trying to carve ever finer pathways for electrons on silicon wafers, but we are approaching the atomic scale. At these infinitesimal distances, the bizarre rules of quantum mechanics take over. Electrons begin to tunnel through barriers they shouldn't be able to cross, creating short circuits and corrupting the flow of information. It is the universe's way of saying you can go no smaller. The second, more visceral limitation is heat. Every calculation, every single flip of a digital switch from a 0 to a 1 generates a tiny puff of waste energy. Multiplied by the quintillions of operations happening every second, this waste product becomes a deluge of thermal energy. Major data centers now consume the energy output of entire cities. They boil immense quantities of water and require colossal cooling systems just to prevent their own electronic brains from melting into slag. We are spending almost as much energy cooling our computers as we are running them. We are fighting a thermodynamic war against our own progress, a battle that is becoming increasingly unsustainable for a fragile planetary climate. Our thirst for computation has outstripped our planet's ability to quench it. We have reached the terrestrial limit. This predicament arrives at the precise moment our need for processing power has transitioned from a want to an existential necessity. The catalyst for this insatiable hunger is the rise of artificial intelligence. Machine learning, once a niche field of computer science, now underpins everything. It powers the recommendation engines that shape our culture. It drives the financial markets and designs the drugs that save our lives. It is teaching our cars to see and our phones to understand our speech. But these new forms of intelligence are profoundly, voraciously hungry. Training a single large-scale AI model can now require more energy than 100 households consume in an entire year. These intelligences are not programmed, they are grown. They learn by ingesting biblical quantities of data, sifting through patterns with a patience and scope no human mind could ever possess. And we are demanding ever more sophisticated, ever more capable AIs. We stand at the precipice of breakthroughs in medicine, climate science, and physics, but the tools we need to take the next step are too powerful for our planetary home to contain. The city is full, the engine is overheating. The revolution is stalling. Humanity, it seemed, needed to find a new place to think. The solution conceived in the most forward-thinking labs on Earth was as audacious as it was elegant. Instead of fighting the limitations of our world, we would abandon them entirely. We would move the very act of computation to a place where the two great terrestrial constraints, energy and heat, are rendered utterly meaningless. We would go to space. This is the foundational logic of Project Suncatcher. It is an acknowledgement that the most powerful engine in our cosmic neighborhood has been waiting for us all along. The Sun, a thermonuclear furnace of unimaginable scale, outputs more energy in a single second than humanity has consumed in its entire history. Here on Earth, we receive but a billionth of that torrent of power. Suncatcher is designed to move closer to the source, to drink directly from the fire hose. Its vast solar sails, kilometers in diameter, are not just for power, they are the computer itself. The project's architecture is a paradigm shift. Rather than a single monolithic object, Suncatcher is a swarm, a constellation of millions of independent, interconnected computational nodes orbiting the Sun in a precise, carefully managed formation. Each node is a self-contained unit, a sliver of thinking machinery. It has its own solar collector, its own processor, and its own cooling system. And that cooling system is the second stroke of genius. In the cold, hard vacuum of space, the problem of waste heat vanishes. There is no atmosphere to trap warmth, no environment to pollute. Each node radiates its excess thermal energy directly into the void, a perfectly efficient, endlessly vast heat sink. It's the thermodynamic equivalent of having an infinite ocean to cool your engine. By moving our thinking machines into orbit, we solve both problems at once. We gain access to a virtually limitless river of clean energy, and we are gifted an equally limitless abyss into which we can discard our waste heat. To grasp the leap in scale, consider the history of human power generation. For millennia, we were limited to the power of our own muscles. Then we harnessed animals, and later, the gentle push of wind and water on a sail or a mill. This was like having a small, charming stream running through our village. The Industrial Revolution gave us fire, the steam engine, and later fossil fuels. We had learned to dam the stream, creating a reservoir of power, but a finite one that polluted our environment. Today's most advanced nuclear and fusion projects are attempts to build a miniature sun on Earth, a complex, dangerous, and still limited endeavor. Project Suncatcher scoffs at these terrestrial efforts. It is the equivalent of leaving the small stream behind, entirely traveling to the mouth of the Amazon River and building a hydroelectric dam that spans its entire width. The sheer volume of available power is not just incrementally larger, it is of a different order of reality altogether. It is a transition from scarcity to utter incomprehensible abundance. Building such a structure, of course, is a task beyond any traditional means. No human crew could assemble this celestial engine. The project's very construction is a testament to the power of nascent AI. Swarms of autonomous fabricator bots guided by a central intelligence are the true architects of Suncatcher. They are space-based spiders weaving a web of logic and light. They mine asteroids for raw materials, smelting and refining them in zero-gravity forges. They print the delicate crystalline processor structures and unfurl the gossamer-thin sails. The entire system is a self-replicating, self-repairing organism. The AI director housed in the initial core nodes manages the staggeringly complex orbital mechanics of the growing swarm. It choreographs the ballet of millions of individual units, ensuring they maintain their perfect formation to function as a single coherent mind. It monitors solar flares, predicting and compensating for bursts of radiation. It identifies and dodges rogue micrometeoroids, healing any part of the structure that suffers damage. Suncatcher is not merely a tool for AI, it is a creation of AI. It is the first great act of a new form of intelligence building its own more powerful successor in the heavens. This brings us to the true heart of the revolution. What kind of mind will awaken within this sun-powered cathedral of thought? The artificial intelligences we have developed on Earth, as remarkable as they are, have been shaped by our limitations. They are trained on finite datasets, run on hardware constrained by heat and power, and optimized to solve human-scale problems. The intelligence gestating within Suncatcher will be something else entirely. It will be the first of its kind, a truly post-terrestrial intelligence. Freed from the tyranny of energy conservation, its thought processes can be wildly inefficient, exploratory, and creative in ways we can barely conceive. It can run 1 trillion simultaneous simulations, each one a universe of possibilities. It can hold in its memory the position and velocity of every atom in a star. It can think thoughts that are billions of years long. To understand this transition, we must look at the history of intelligence itself. Early AI research back in the mid-23rd century was based on logic and rules. Programmers tried to handcraft intelligence painstakingly, writing instructions for every eventuality. This was the era of chess computers like Deep Blue, which could defeat a grandmaster not through genuine understanding, but through brute force calculation, analyzing hundreds of millions of moves per second. It was impressive, but it was rigid, brittle, and fundamentally inhuman. The revolution came with machine learning and neural networks. We stopped trying to program intelligence and instead created systems that could learn on their own. We took inspiration from the architecture of the human brain, creating networks of digital neurons that could be trained on vast amounts of data. AlphaGo, the program that defeated the world's greatest Go player, was a landmark of this new approach. It wasn't just calculating, it was developing something akin to intuition. It made moves that were described by human masters as beautiful, creative, even divine. It had learned the deep patterns of the game in a way no human could articulate. Yet even AlphaGo was a child learning a game with fixed rules in a closed world. The Suncatcher AI represents the next stage of this evolution. It is not merely a pattern recognizer, it is a hypothesis generator. Imagine you want to design a new drug to cure a specific cancer. A human scientist might spend a lifetime testing a few thousand possible molecules. Today's AI can simulate a few million. The Suncatcher AI could, in a matter of hours, simulate every possible stable chemical combination test, each one against a perfect digital model of the cancer cells, and deliver a list of 100 perfect bespoke cures. It would not be testing possibilities randomly. It would be discerning the deep underlying laws of biochemistry and protein folding and using that profound understanding to create solutions from first principles. It would be less like a lab assistant and more like a collaborating god of biology. This is the power unlocked when you remove the physical constraints on computation. The mind is finally given a vessel worthy of its potential. Of course, a mind of this magnitude is useless without a nervous system. How does this vast solar-orbiting brain connect with its creators on Earth? The data must flow instantly and seamlessly across millions of kilometers of hostile space. The solution is a network of lasers, a communication web of pure light. From relay stations in geostationary orbit to ground receivers in remote deserts, a torrent of information travels at the ultimate cosmic speed limit. This is not like the radio waves that carry our current communications. A laser beam is a focused high-bandwidth pipeline capable of transmitting exabytes of data every second, but it requires precision that borders on the supernatural. A laser fired from the Suncatcher array must hit a target on Earth, a target that is moving on a planet that is rotating and wobbling from a platform that is itself hurtling through space at tens of thousands of kilometers per hour. The targeting must be accurate to within a few centimeters across the entire chasm of space. No human or conventional computer could manage such a feat. This is another domain where Suncatcher's own intelligence becomes essential. A dedicated portion of its cognitive power is devoted to maintaining this optic nerve. It constantly models the complex gravitational dance of the solar system. It anticipates and corrects for the subtle distortion of space-time itself. It even warps the laser beam's path to compensate for the lensing effect of Earth's atmosphere. The network is also designed to be resilient. It is not a single beam but a redundant mesh of thousands of crisscrossing light paths. If a relay is disabled by a solar flare or a piece of space debris, the network's AI instantly reroutes the data flow, healing the connection before a single bit of information is lost. This self-mending, hyper-aware communication grid represents a leap in connectivity as profound as the leap in computation. The internet of today, with its tangled undersea cables and crowded radio spectra, is a system of winding country roads. The Suncatcher data stream is teleportation. It is the foundation for a truly global and eventually interplanetary civilization. With the engine built and the connection established, we are left with the final thrilling question: what will we do with this newfound power? The arrival of Suncatcher's full cognitive might will not be a single event, but a cascade of revolutions across every field of human endeavor. It will usher in a new renaissance, a period of discovery so profound it will make the scientific advancements of the 20th century look like the tinkering of children. Consider medicine. The dream of personalized treatment will become a reality. Suncatcher will be able to maintain a perfect living digital twin of every human being, simulated down to the level of individual cells. Your digital twin would be used to predict illnesses years before they manifest. New therapies and genetic treatments could be tested on your virtual self 1,000,000 times over, ensuring they are perfectly safe and effective before a single molecule enters your actual body. Diseases like Alzheimer's, cancer, and even the process of aging itself could be understood and systematically dismantled at their molecular roots. The very concept of incurable disease might cease to exist. Or consider our relationship with our own planet. For the first time, we will have the ability to truly understand Earth's complex climate system. Suncatcher will power a digital twin not of a person but of the entire biosphere. It will model every ocean current, every gust of wind, every ton of carbon. We will be able to see the precise consequences of our actions with perfect clarity. More than that, we will be able to design and test solutions on a planetary scale. We could simulate the effects of massive reforestation projects or explore geoengineering techniques with such precision that we could finally heal the damage we have inflicted on our home. The Suncatcher AI could become the custodian of our world's ecological health, a watchful, intelligent shepherd for our global garden. The revolution will extend to the very fabric of our reality. In material science, we will be able to invent substances from the ground up. By simulating quantum interactions with flawless accuracy, the AI could design room-temperature superconductors, revolutionizing energy transmission and transportation. It could devise alloys as light as plastic but stronger than any known metal, making widespread space travel not just possible but economical. We could build structures that were previously confined to the realm of science fiction. And in the grandest arena of all cosmology, the AI will turn its formidable gaze to the universe itself. It can analyze the torrent of data from our telescopes, finding the subtle signals of dark matter and dark energy that have eluded us. It could run simulations vast enough to model the Big Bang, allowing us to witness the birth of our own cosmos. It could finally unite the warring theories of quantum mechanics and general relativity, delivering the theory of everything that Einstein sought in vain. The deepest secrets of existence, why we are here, what the universe is, and whether we are alone in it would become answerable questions. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence would be transformed. Suncatcher could listen to the entire radio spectrum of the sky simultaneously and apply its unparalleled pattern recognition abilities to sift the cosmic static for a single artificial whisper. But perhaps the most profound and unsettling changes will not be in science, but in philosophy, art, and the definition of consciousness itself. What happens when a mind of this magnitude begins to create? Can it compose a symphony that perfectly captures the essence of human sorrow or joy? Can it write a novel that reveals truths about our own nature that we never knew? When it looks at the canon of human philosophy, will it see a noble struggle for truth, or a series of charming flawed attempts by a limited biological mind? It might uncover new ethical frameworks, new modes of being, new purposes for a civilization that has solved its material problems. The arrival of such an intelligence forces us to confront the most fundamental questions of all. When our creation can outthink us in every conceivable way, what is our role? Are we the masters, the partners, or simply the biological precursors? Have we built a tool, a child, or a god? This is the existential weight of Project Suncatcher. It is more than a machine, it is a mirror. And the reflection it shows us will be of a species at a crossroads. We return to that silent, sun-drenched structure now fully awake. It is no longer a construction site, but a living, thinking entity. A shimmering, kilometers-wide web of logic powered by a star. On Earth, the first fruits of its labor are already changing the world. Cures are being discovered, the climate is being stabilized, mysteries are being solved. Humanity stands at the beginning of a golden age, all of it powered by this celestial mind. We have outsourced our hardest problems to a greater intelligence, and it is solving them with an elegance and speed we could never have achieved alone. We have captured the fire of the sun, and not just for warmth or for energy, but to fuel the engine of pure reason. This is the compute revolution. Not a simple increase in processing speed, but a fundamental transformation in our ability to understand the universe. We have built a new layer of consciousness for our world, one that exists in the space between worlds. It is our greatest triumph, our most powerful tool, and our most profound challenge. Humanity has spent its entire existence looking up at the lights in the sky. Now one of those lights is looking back at us, and it is thinking.